Hello and welcome, everyone. I'm joined by the Black Knight, my co-host for Monday Night's Talks. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah, I'm fine. Just tired. Um, as you know, I've been doing some renovation adjacent stuff, and recently that's been draining my what's left of my nightly juice. Yeah, so
Hmm.
I'm low on juice right now. A bit. How are you?
I've been good. The dog's been sick as a dog because of the heat.
Yeah.
It's just he has a double layer of black fur, and summer heat of about plus 30 degrees is murdering him, and the humidity is not much better. So he's got hives all over now because he's gotten heat stroke, and he's had a bit of an allergic reaction or something to it. So these things combined have left him very sick, and we're having to stay home an extra bit to
Yeah.
care for him. But in the meantime, I've been finishing up the Varcola vampire novel, and just today I published my teaser trailer for uh, the next Crown of Blood uh, part, which you'll be part of. Um,
Yeah, I remember I sent you all the voice files already.
Yeah, they were great. I added them. So first episode, you'll be appearing. Yay!
Haha.
Um, and here we are. Let me just try. Um, okay. I want to show you the teaser trailer. It'll only take a minute, and then we're going to get to the main discussion piece. So let me just make sure my audio is working. Let's see. Yes, and people are going to see that I watched the Bronze Age.
Something must be done about the sons of Domnall.
For God's sake, let us sit upon the ground and tell sad stories of the death of kings.
This was supposed to be a meal of peace for the family who once played together and were as inseparable as brothers. Why is it you now brave for blood? Above all else, we are family. Is that too much to ask for?
They take action after action against us and have also murdered their own.
How dare you, Padre? He is not but a child.
Thoughts?
That looks nice. I think the volume should be a bit, maybe a tad bit
Higher?
stronger.
Oh, that's fair. As it is, I patched it together rather quickly today, and it's well, it was a fun little thing to do. Um, Ironically, I immediately jumped up by 4 subs when no wait, 5 subs when I released it. Um, and yet I've got an art director on Twitter complaining that he doesn't understand what the story's about. And I told him it's the teaser trailer, not the trailer. And you said the same thing about the trailer. And because he had said about the trailer, I don't understand what the story's about. Well, it's about a family that's divided. They're in a civil war. It's a Celtic story and whatnot. And I think he was like, "What's Celtic?" The Celtic people like Scotland, Ireland, and France. Why didn't you just say that? Well, hold up. How come you don't know about Celtic people? This is in the elementary school education. I never remember being educated about that. And I'm like, you must be American. And I'm joking there. But it was just like, wait, I'm having to explain to you basic elementary school history and geography. And, it was like the thing with the initial trailer was that I had to explain to him, certain basic facts. And I had a bunch of other Americans weigh in and just say, now hold on. Actually, it's pretty obvious from the trailer. Did you even watch it? And yeah, so that guy came back and just played dumb.
It's one of them. Yeah.
That's the thing. I've worked with art directors and I've studied under them, and they're usually the dumbest people around. Your average artist is usually smarter than them. The art director is not usually selected for his brains. I don't know what he's selected for, but he's usually the worst artist or the dumbest one around.
Yeah, we should ask some of our artist friends about art directors. They should know more, I think.
Yeah. But anyways, that being said, the volume could have been better. I'll acknowledge.
Yeah.
And but like I said, if I had had it my way for the audio, I would have used something more like the music from Pillars of the Earth from the theme song, rather than what I did have. But I don't want copyright infringement.
Yes.
And the thing is, Stars, I think, does occasionally hit people to take down videos on YouTube. And I'm not actually going to attack them for it. You know what I mean? Like, it's a great theme. And it's one of those things where it's probably the best intro, outro song I've ever heard. So naturally, they get a lot of views from it. And, you know, like if someone swipes it for more than, I think, 15 seconds or something, they get a little miffed. And like I said, I don't always get angry about this sort of stuff because I kind of think I get it. Like, you want people to go to your channel, not because, you know, Stars is they're a big sci-fi history miniseries channel, like Hallmark. And they need every advantage they can get. So since I'm a fan of the channel, I usually just, you know, I give them leeway. You know what I mean? Like I do understand when you're a smaller studio or creative, you don't want people swiping what you've got.
Yeah, pretty much. Though I know that back in the day when we were much more active in like the homebrew D&D scene, some of us realized that certain entities have adopted some of the mechanics and other things. They just renamed them a bit. Yeah, but yeah, it's like copying us. That's kind of like that. At least back then, it felt kind of cool.
I just, like I said, I think that with trailers like that, they don't always have to be perfect. You know, be content with what you can produce and whatnot. It's a learning thing, and I'll make a better one next time. Because I'm planning to make a teaser trailer for each of these. I don't want to say seasons, but stories. You know what I mean? Like just a minute long. It's not because I'm thinking
I know what you're doing. You're training for the Star Shattered trailer.
I was gonna dump that on
exactly.
James.
That's what you're doing.
James could produce a better trailer, but I'd rather do the teasers. But I do want to train to do the teaser stuff, because the thing about these little minute-long things is I've come to kind of appreciate what a teaser trailer does, but I think that a teaser should be released before a trailer. But I kind of think it works better for a TV series rather than a movie, because a movie only needs one trailer, Whereas if you have, like a TV series or audio series or something, you release, you know what I mean? Like for each episode or each season or something. Well, maybe a trailer for each season, but that's the idea. Yeah. So I think that for this, it's a lot better if I set this up, and it gives me an extra video because YouTube favors channels that have more than 5 videos. I recently found that out. That's pretty, like that's interesting to me. I didn't originally know that. So like, it's because I think it pegs you in the algorithm as being a channel it has to pay attention to. Otherwise, you're not a content creator in its eyes or something. I don't know. Like normally I complain about the algorithm, but that's something I think that's, you know what I mean? Kind of interesting. It's not something worth attacking. It's something more like, oh, that's neat. Cool. But anyways, yeah. So now as for what else I was going to discuss, it's kind of related. Apparently piracy is back when it comes to movies and TV shows. And apparently it died down. Now, How Money Works made a great video, and I saw it only because of Asmongold. He made a reaction video, as he's wont to do. But this was one of his better reaction videos.
What did he say?
He took the attitude that piracy makes sense because we're currently in an economic crisis around the world. It's basically a Great Depression. And people can't afford to waste money on movies and TV shows. And these streaming services, their costs are mounting. It's getting to be too expensive for most people to afford, like all these different subscription services. And so people are cutting the cord and going to piracy. And since 2023, it's been rising. Now, apparently, it died when Netflix... when Netflix first began.
Yeah, I disagree that it died. It didn't die. It just it slowed down. It slowed down just like for a few years or like a couple of years.
That's what I
it
meant.
Slowed down. It may have felt that it was like to
there's
people
also
in
the
the
fact
West,
that
but it did not die. No, people here never stopped using it.
Yeah.
Nobody's paying shit for Netflix here.
Yeah, that's fair. Apparently, Pirates Bay was shut down for a few years as well. So it died in places like the US and Canada. Yeah, the website got shut down.
You mean the official pages of the Pirate Bay? No, it wasn't. Like the official pages were just moved in, and they were hosted in different countries.
Yeah. Well, in Canada, for example, the website died. It got cut off because the big money didn't want it around. So, yeah, like in the US and Canada, this stuff got shut down because big studios didn't want it around. They got annoyed. And the trouble is, it's back now in these countries and throughout the Anglosphere, actually, I should say. I know that in Europe, it didn't really die. Japan, it was still active, ironically. The Japanese just didn't care. They didn't give a rat's ass what the streaming services said. The Japanese are very smart that way.
Yeah, if I can add about Japan, it's like that there is a subculture there about the preservation of old movies, music, etc. So mostly what people are using the so-called piracy for is to preserve. They're actually using it as a library to preserve and share rare anime, rare movies, rare albums. That's what they are mostly using it for.
Yeah. I know about that only due to the horror, I think it is, of Dracula, the first Dracula movie by Hammer. where a lot of the production stills got preserved and a lot of the video footage got preserved at one point when the studio lost it. And they had to basically seek out a guy in Japan who had actually preserved everything. Japan's been preserving that stuff for a very long time. I would argue it's the museum and library of cinema in a lot of ways. And that cinema people and, all cinema people should be nicer to the Japanese because they do so much to preserve this stuff, like you said. Eastern Europe kept doing the pirating because it's just
We're
cheaper
poor.
and makes more sense.
We're just too poor. We're poor.
Yeah, to put it bluntly. I know in Finland, I don't think it died in Finland. They're wealthy, but the Finnish are finicky.
Interesting. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, they're very finicky people. They're interesting
We
people.
love them too much.
Yeah, yeah. I've got relatives who are Finnish, so I know how harsh they can be.
I've had like throughout the years I've had like I think 6 players who are Finnish.
They're
And two
smart.
and 2 players who were married to Finns. So yeah.
I will argue something a little weird. I think on official IQ tests, they're said to be like just 100, but they're a little higher than that. They're not stupid people.
They're shrewd. They are quite shrewd.
Yes. I've had a theory for a few years that they were deliberately failing the test or just didn't care to study for it. So they just score like a 99 or 100, when in reality it should be like closer to a 105 or something. The Finns are just like, they've almost never lost a war against Russia. They're a people who have managed to maintain their independence of Sweden as well. They were so shrewd that when the rest of the East fell to, behind the Iron Curtain, they didn't. And yet they also didn't fall to the kind of liberal curtain throughout the Cold War. Like the Finns are they're very, very, like, people always talk in the West in the US and Canada about how brilliant the Swedes are. But in some ways, the Finns are even more brilliant. No offense to the Swedish. It's just the Finnish they're clever. Like, I have no Finnish blood in me. It's just that my mother married a Finnish man, and he's very smart. Like, the only thing with the Finnish is that they're autistic in a way. Like, their habits, their routines, they never break from it.
I would say that it's their desire to finish things,
Yeah, that's why we call them the Finnish. But yeah, they're, like I said, I really do like them. They're also very good musicians and artists. Utterly brilliant men and women, to be fair. But it's also very interesting to me that when, like, speaking with a lot of Finnish people, when they were getting publicly humiliated when their prime minister was dancing on a pole like a lady of the night, most other countries, when this sort of outrage occurred with them, were humiliated and enraged against their leaders. The Finns, every Finn I knew was angry but kept his cool and just spoke for grind. Like, they were grinding their teeth, but they weren't losing their cool. And she was soon sacked, from what I understand. And so it's like, these people are not to be messed around with. But yeah, I'm very biased towards them. But they didn't stop pirating stuff. It was just business as usual. But they're rich, like the West, certain Western countries, but they are pragmatic and shrewd, like the Eastern European people. So, like, I'll actually say the Finnish are a perfect mixture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm also fond of them because they're very Christian. Very much so. Now, as for the pirating thing, apparently it's picking back up in places like Germany, France, because I know it didn't. The French and the Germans were satisfied with having more of a presence on Netflix because there were more Netflix shows being produced with French and German studios, but that's been declining recently, from what I understand. And because I've noticed there's less and less of them. And so the French are going with their own streaming service, which is actually pretty good. It's good for documentaries. I quite like it. And they have a free subscription option. Like, you don't even submit your credit card. You just go free and you can upgrade. Some things are paywalled, some things aren't. So they like give you a taste of the shows and whatnot. But then for some of them, like for the later seasons in some cases, it's paywalled. But then they'll say, like, what they'll do is in September, it's free. But then after like 2 or 3 weeks, it's paywalled again. So you've got a small window. So the French are very, very interesting.
That's a good way to do a streaming service.
And the production values have been getting better, I've noticed. It's very interesting. But this is where most French shows and movies are going on that now instead of Disney, Netflix, and whatnot. The French are just buying up all the rights to their stuff back and just putting it on there. It's a one-stop shop. And so I spend more time there than I do, like, you know what I mean? Like on Netflix or Disney Plus or something these days. Well, I never had Disney Plus, but my mother got Netflix and shared it with me. And I've not been paying attention to Netflix lately. Like, there's some good movies, but there's also quite a bit that's not good. And a lot of people are pirating now again. Oddly enough, I'll actually confess I have not pirated lately. I don't know why. It's just I've got a large DVD collection, so I don't really have to. You know what I mean? And my eldest brother also has a large collection, so I could always borrow from him. And my uncle and cousin also have a large collection, and so if I have to, I borrow from them. It's like I'm not saying that to be virtuous. It's just I would pirate, but there's just no need. Or I just go on YouTube and I find it there. But
yeah, then there's that the fact that you have
options.
Yeah, you have multiple options, and you also could find certain sites, streaming sites, free streaming sites.
Yeah,
you just need a good internet connection and a good ad blocker, and you're set pretty much.
Yeah, I watched Dreamscape on YouTube, a 80s horror sci-fi movie. It was pretty good. A little weird though, I will admit. It was quite weird, but it was, like one of those weird. It was more psychological. You know what I mean? Because the main character is entering people's dreams and getting to know another side of them.
I think I remember this one.
Yeah, and it had a more Han Solo style lead, and I thought that was interesting. Yeah, I really liked it. I didn't expect to like it. It's because occasionally I just click like 80s horror movies, and then I click on, and I just choose one at random that pops up on Google. And
oh, by the way, when you said YouTube, you could find like a digitally remastered version of one of the 80s best and quite great series called Space Above and Beyond.
Okay.
Which is written by, if I remember correctly, people who knew Marines, and it's quite like, at least in the military side of things, they have done quite a good job I mean, yeah, the effects are a bit older, but they still
Okay.
they
Well,
are still good.
okay. Well, there were effects in the 80s movie and I didn't mind it. Like,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I tend to do more listening of movies than watching because I'm basically writing all the time or reading for book clubs and for the Lunar Awards and whatnot. So I'm doing more listening than I am watching. So, um, but as for
Reading
effects,
is
I grew up on 80s, well, 70s, 80s, and 90s movies as a child. So I'm still kind of, um, and 40s movies, I should also hasten to add. So I'm kind of, I guess, I don't really pay attention to effects, I guess. Um, I don't know. But I
oh
find,
yeah, substance over light shows.
yeah, and today's graphics are crap compared to early 2000 and 90s stuff.
Yeah, because they're lazy.
Yeah, it's because they're just using AI to produce it.
And they are too diversified to produce anything good.
Yeah, because AI means actually Indians, not artificial intelligence. But
Pretty much.
um, but how do you see? Like, I'll be honest. I know there's a healthy um, book pirating industry, so to speak. Is that, I don't know if that's the right term, but oddly, from what I understand, it's not as much of a threat to us authors as
No, no.
the movie is to cinema.
It's. I mean, yeah, you could say that uh, with a little bit of time and effort, you can find our books pirated somewhere. There are sites, some old forums and such where you can find indie books, pirated indie books, but people are not like they're not doing it overwhelmingly.
No,
As
and
they're not focused at it as much as about
it's
movies,
marketing.
games, and music.
Yeah, if I knew
They're
how to.
not. I mean, yeah, they know that. Let's say the small guys and gals like us, they're like, yeah. In most cases, even the pirates themselves, they leave messages. It's like if you like the book, find a way to support the author somehow. Like,
Yeah,
but if it's some like huge corporal monstrosity, they're like, yeah, fuck off. Like, we don't care.
yeah, because um, I I've never bothered looking for my book. I'm sure it is pirated somewhere. Well, actually,
I
books,
bothered.
but
I bothered and I looked and I found them.
oh, cool. Okay, but the thing is, I just view it as not a threat because it's marketing. Like
Yeah, pretty
we
much.
need all the backup we can
I
get.
was about to mention that.
Yeah. Um, what I what I was going to say though is for authors, it's useful to get these things out. And even if you're like history books cost a fortune, even if someone pirates that, a lot of the people who read that will probably end up discussing it, doing podcasts, a lot more bang for your buck, no matter what. And the thing is, though, it's not as much of a threat against us, I think, on some level, because people aren't really pirating books from what I like like even if they do, I suspect they're probably like treating it like how I treat Kindle, because I treat Kindle like it's a rental service. I buy a Kindle book for my blog so I can copy and paste words, and then I basically just go in, write my essay, and I also want to order a copy, like a paperback copy, and I, you know what I mean? Like if I pay for the Kindle, I'll also pay for the paperback eventually, and so,
You're doing what people here at a certain point did with the games.
Oh, okay.
Because people like the companies, they grew too fat, and
Hmm.
they stopped releasing demo versions of the games because
Oh, that sucks.
they began like producing slop. And why would you show that your like $40 to $50 to $60 game is slop via demo version? No. You are not going to release a demo version. That's why most of like 90% of the gamers here, they were like, okay, many of them had some money and they were prepared to buy the games legally, but why would they spend their like few bucks, their hard-earned money, on a sloppy game?
Yeah.
And that's where
So-
piracy came in. They checked the game, they saw the game, they saw it's good, they liked it, and they went and bought it.
Yeah, that's the idea I have with Kindle. It's just to me more a rental service. And because I remember I used to love Blockbuster, and I would always go with my dad. It's ironically, as a kid, I didn't really care about it, but it's just that my dad loved going there. And then I eventually got Stockholm syndrome towards it, because when I'd see it, I knew I was going to be spending 2 hours with my dad, just browsing and chatting and whatnot. You got to bear in mind, I was the daddy's boy who, like, even 10 minutes with my dad was like Christmas for me. So, like, this is what actually made me struggle to kind of understand to an extent and sympathize with Max Goof from the Goofy movie, was because I was like, why wouldn't you want to spend the entire summer with your dad? It's the best time ever. And so, yeah, I was that kid. I was like, oh, spending time with people, whatever. Spending time with dad, cool. This is going to be the best day ever. So for me, renting comes naturally, but I see it as I don't mind dropping like $10 to rent books via Kindle, and then in 2-3 months when I have more money, buying
Buy them, yeah,
Yeah.
physically, yeah.
Yeah. And like what I did with let me see, most of the Tolkien books, I have almost all of them. I think I do have all of them on Kindle. I have all of Howard's work on Kindle. I have so many history books on Kindle that I also have physically. I have Dumas' work on Kindle, and I have it. Well, I don't have Trois Mousquetaires yet physically because it keeps getting sold out in my area. which
Yeah,
frustrates
I
me.
remember you telling me about this.
Yeah, I've ranted. I've got several books. I think I've got several books that are like medieval texts that are on Kindle. I have Dracula on Kindle. I've got like everything you generally see me write about, like essays on, I have on Kindle because I need it to copy and paste. And I either have it on, well, I don't really like EPUBs because I don't like opening the tab. I want to open it as a separate window. And so like I buy it on Kindle and then I buy it physically. And that's but the thing is, when I like I know I think I know one or two people who do pirate books, and I'm always behind them by a few months on getting my hands on books because they pirate. I suspect, I'm not going to outright say that's it for a fact, but I suspect friendly people. But like I said, it's just I prefer to get it on Kindle. It's just much more convenient because I also have Kindle on my phone, because you can't, well, maybe some people can, but I can't read PDFs or EPUBs on my phone, but I can read my Kindle on my phone. And
Yeah.
when I'm traveling, I like to read books, but I can't bring all my books with me. So I bring my my phone, and it's the
Wouldn't you need like an app for reading PDFs on your phone?
yeah, I think you do, but I don't
Yeah.
know how to set it up. So
Yes.
so I think each PDF takes up so much data, whereas on Kindle it doesn't. So I can just keep all my data as is, and it's just more convenient. And that's the thing. I think that when it comes to these movies, they're cutting the cord. People are cutting the cord because it's cheaper and it's more convenient for them than dropping
Yes.
$50 an hour
Much less of a hassle.
or a
They
year. Or
have
something.
to,
Yeah.
and if you remember the more recent articles and videos, is that Netflix and other streaming services, they have upped the rates, and also they have jam-packed every possible second with ads. And even on their premium like services, where you're supposed to, let's say, not like watch a movie uninterrupted or a series uninterrupted, even there you get like constantly harassed by ads. So people are they're like fed up with this, just like they were fed up with the bullshit with on YouTube with the ads and the ad blockers.
Yeah, and well, that's a case. I'm a case in point. I stopped using YouTube a while back because the ads. I've started to come back, but it's just because there is a huge library of 80s and 70s and 60s
Yeah.
movies and documentaries that might as well. But even then, like, the ads just always get me cussing like a sailor.
Yeah, they're quite annoying.
Yeah, but thankfully I've got an ad blocker on, so it's blocking out the damn things. Well, I see the first second or two, but then it it blocks, and it jumps straight to the video.
In the case of uBlock Origin, it outright blocks everything. You don't even like have to wait a second or anything.
Okay.
It just blocks everything forever. The issue with that is that some companies they attempt to sabotage your computer or your phone if you have an ad blocker, and they slow down your loading speed of the video, and or do something else like different things. So yeah, the things with the piracy, it's going to intensify. There will be intensified forward firepower. Like,
so they're basically going to keep pushing the. Well, they're going to obviously push back against this trend.
How can I tell you? It's like trying to dig a hole in the sand with just a stick. You're trying to dig a hole in the sand with no shovel. You're using a stick, like a small stick.
Yeah, you can't.
How long do you think it will take you to dig the hole in the sand with the stick? That's
You'll
what
never
they're doing.
succeed.
That's what they're doing. They're like, yes, we will implement new changes and this and that, and there are like at least a few million people who are just waiting for them to implement their new changes, and they instantly break down everything and update the ad blockers and stuff, and that's it. And they're doing it for free. They're just doing it out of spite because they're an end, or they are fucking fed up with all of this bullshit.
Yeah, because the streaming services, the services have gotten worse. And at least when I watch my French one, I don't get ads because, like Netflix, I get nothing but ads. But on the French streaming service, TV, I always forget its damn name, TV 5 Uni, I don't get ads,
Oh.
and I'm on free. Like I'm not subscribed like for the paywall service, or like I'm not paying in, and I don't get any ads except at the beginning, and I could skip those. And so, okay, there are ads, but I can skip them. But the thing is, like, it's not as annoying as Netflix if it's a million ads, which you can't skip. You have to watch. It's basically
The million
cable.
ads of the Netflix empire.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. So I think that's we've covered everything here. And so I'll
I just hope that we'll actually get more of it.
Yeah, I really hope these studios and whatnot start smartening up, because honestly, really, like even some of the French and German ones need to smarten up. The only ones who've delivered some quality stuff, I find, has been thus far the Japanese, where like it's agenda free and it's generally really good. The only agenda the Japanese dramas I've watched have is, oh, look at the glory that is Japanese civilization, which when you're the cultural giga chat of the world alongside France, you can get away with it.
Yep, pretty much.
But that reminds me real quick of one Frenchman who said on Twitter the other day, I think it was earlier today, he said, Americans need to learn from us French. You see, we could, you guys care too much what other people think. We, les Français, we French, think of like Belgique and Luxembourg, and we honestly don't care about them. And I replied, yes, well, Belgique is just a temporarily independent province, while Luxembourg, people even think about it. And I doubt even the Luxembourgers even think about it. And he said, yes, precisely. It hardly even exists. It's a state of mind, not a actual place. And of course, he's always saying stuff like that about Germany and I think Italy as well. But he's always kidding around. Like, that's the thing. Like, I always see the odd Frenchman on Twitter just commenting like, like they like to post that meme of, like the one character saying, I pity you. And you have the other person, really? I don't think about you at all. You have them just always posting that about every other country in the world, from even Bulgaria, Greece, Russia, America, Canada, Luxembourg, Germany, Africa. Well, I know Africa is not a country, but like, you know what I mean? Like all of Africa. It's just, you just have them like, I remember one of them just saying, the only countries we have to care about. No, it's like they made a map. Like there was a like it went viral for a bit within French Twitter. It was like you had the only places that matter in the world. You had France, you had Ireland and Scotland. I think you had Finland, and you had like Quebec and the Maritimes, and you had Japan, and you just had the person who had posted it just said, Your monde extérieur, like there's an outside world outside these places, ? And you had someone who was Spanish said, wait, hold on, what about us? We have a lot of French people here. How come you're basically consigning us to the rest of the universe?
How dare you?
Yeah. And you just had and how come you're accepting the Scots and the Irish? And you have the French, we're obligated to. It's not because we want to. We're contractually obligated due to the medieval period. But you guys, no, you guys don't get to come on board because ancient ancestral enmities. You know, you're like England, except with better food and more beautiful women. Was the reply?
It's like this. It's like the stories about European ninjutsu.
Yeah.
That's that's something we could talk about in another show.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'll just say that I'm just glad that, you know, like the general reaction to piracy has not been some online war, but just generally, so that's happened. Whatever. But
yeah,
anyways,
pretty much.
it's just kind of funny. But anyways, I gotta get going and you gotta get going. So
Yeah.
we'll close this out here. I'll just encourage people to check out The Black Knight. You could search him up on Substack. He's nearing 600 subs, so do please check that out.
Indeed.
Subscribe to him, and check out also here on YouTube the Bros Crin to find my my channel, because you know you guys just saw the teaser trailer, which was awesome.
Yes.
So subscribe.